This is how you build an AI-proof photo and video business in 2025. Most photographers and videographers are worried about surviving AI, and I'm about to show you how to not only survive, but to thrive. What you're about to watch is a training taken directly from my paid program, Creative Biz Launch. This is an exclusive session we had in our community just a few weeks back, and I want to share it here on this YouTube channel for free because so many creatives read all the fear-mongering headlines about AI and they're afraid. I want to show you what's possible in 2025. Okay, so this is going to be premium positioning in the AI era. Recording this end of April 2025. I'm putting that timestamp in there because AI moves so quickly. And right now, the leading models are ChatGPT 4.0 with image generation. There's OpenAI o3, Google VO2 for video generation, Gemini 2.5 Pro, and Sonnet 3.7. And what this lesson is, I'm going to be teaching you what I believe is the best way to stand out in an AI world if you want to run a successful creative service-based business. So again, if you're just trying to sell artwork, this lesson is not relevant. This is how to run a service-based business as a creative in the AI world. So there's going to be a lot here. It's going to be very dense. So if you're super beginner, implement at your own pace. If you're more advanced, take as much as you want of this and start to increase your value. I want to start by going through an AI reality check. So there's a lot of common fears going around right now. Why would clients hire me if they could just prompt AI and get images instantly, right? There are a ton of AI tools out there and they're getting better every single day. And soon clients won't need me at all. Clients will always choose the cheapest option available. My years of experience mean nothing if AI can do it faster or better. I can't compete with AI on speed or price. And you probably have heard a lot of these being thrown around on social media, right? There is a lot of fear mongering, a lot of people living in the gap instead of the gain, focusing on like all the negative stuff here. When the reality is, a lot of these fears just don't really have a basis in reality right now. So I'm going to combat these with some truths right now. AI still needs a lot of human direction to really create anything that is truly valuable or on brand for your clients. And the threat, it's not so much being replaced, it's becoming a low value commodity. So a commodity is something that is easily replaceable by AI here. If you're just doing really basic stuff here, you will become a commodity and become replaceable versus someone that has like their own unique value proposition here. Most clients who try AI themselves will get frustrated with the limitations. There's a lot of things that you have to do right to get the results on the back end that you want from these AI models. And this is no different than like clients trying to do photos or videos themselves before going out and hiring a photographer, right? They're like on my YouTube channel, I have a lot of videos on like how to create product photos. And I've had clients who have started by watching those videos because they thought they could just take these photos themselves. They try it themselves. They don't get the results that they want. And then they go to my website, fill out my intake form. And I've actually worked with a few clients that have just come through this path. So it's like the same thing with AI coming into play. AI can make basic assets, but it cannot fully replace strategy, brand feel, real world context. Like the intersection of all these things is where your value is. There's also potential like legal considerations that companies will face if they're using AI. So this might be from misrepresenting products or services in their images. And this matters more to larger companies, I will say. So like, for example, there was this thing I saw on Twitter the other day where someone was saying, okay, we don't need real estate photographers anymore. If I want to photograph my Airbnb and like really highlight it, I'll just toss in this iPhone photo and generate this beautifully lit photo of my Airbnb. And then when you actually look at the photos that AI generated, there are a lot of things that are just completely wrong about the photo. Like the fridge is completely different. There's maybe a doorway to a room that doesn't exist. So if someone were to book this Airbnb off these photos and they get there and it just doesn't match reality, there's going to be some legal considerations there. Same with like copyright, all this stuff. And a lot of companies just don't want to deal with when there's so much uncertainty, whether or not these things are even legal, right? Another truth, if you only sell technical skills, you'll be competing directly with AI. So if you're just focusing on the technical aspects of creating a perfect white background product photo, your competition there is AI. But if you're selling technical skills and creative skills, you're competing less with AI. And if you have technical skills, creative skills, know how to build brands, know business strategy, you're no longer competing with AI there. You are your own service here that AI just can't compete with. So even with the best AI tools, companies aren't making their creative in-house. So you may see like ads popping up of like, hey, this was purely generated by AI. When companies share these, they're actually hiring like an agency that is using AI to create this for them. So what's happening here, even with the best AI tools, the companies themselves, they're not using these in-house. They're still hiring someone to use these AI tools for them, right? So there's still a lot of creative involved, a lot of strategy that that even if AI gets really, really, really good, we'll still be able to play a part here. And this lesson is really going to focus on all these truths and how we can position ourselves in the AI era here. So there is a lot of opportunity here. Um, Creatives who understand business goals will become irreplaceable partners. So if you understand why businesses, clients are hiring you to begin with, you are going to win. And throughout Creative Biz Launch in the offers course, the marketing course, the sales course, the fulfillment course, we talk about not becoming someone who just pushes a button on a camera. We try and figure out what our client's outcome is, what they actually want from us, and we position ourselves as the person who can solve, who can deliver that result for them. So we want to become strategic creatives who really understand these business goals. And this is the same thing I've been saying for years and years now. And this stuff doesn't really change when AI comes into play. So using AI tools for yourself that speed up your workflow while still keeping that creative control, that's going to be big. So using AI tools on the front end of your offer, so maybe mood boarding, coming up with ideas, all that. And then on the back end of your offer too, like once you take the photos, take the videos, you can use AI to kind of speed up the editing process here. Clients still need experts who can bridge the gap between like what they're envisioning and actually bringing those visual assets to life. So maybe it's going to be they want to hire a photographer, videographer to bring their vision to life, or maybe they're hiring an AI ad agency that purely uses AI. There still has to be someone here to kind of bridge that gap. And there's going to be a split in the market. There's going to be these cheap AI assets that keep coming out, and we probably have seen a lot of these on social media already. And these are pretty obvious to a lot of people. Versus the other hand, we're going to have more premium, human-directed creative. And there's obviously going to be a split here depending on companies' marketing budgets and all of that. But from the consumer perspective, I think a lot of people are going to be leaning towards the actual human creative because what I foresee happening is there's going to be a pretty negative association with AI over the coming years when it's going to start taking like more office jobs, typical like knowledge-based work jobs. People are going to have a negative perception of AI, and if they see brands are using AI for all of their imagery, they're going to have a negative association with that brand. So I think the best brands are going to lean away from AI, and then the people that don't have budgets are going to still use some cheap assets from it to do some marketing. And lastly, here, AI will replace a lot of creatives who don't adapt to this like changing landscape, and that is a fact. I'm pretty confident in that. But you can still run a business. Well, if you adapt, you will be in a much better position. But even if you don't adapt, you can still run a business without this. But you will be playing on hard mode here. So I highly recommend like learning these tools, using them as much as possible in your workflows, and really positioning yourself as someone who, as a premium service provider in the AI era. So I'll show you guys how to do that in just a moment here. Lastly here, why human creators will win. So there's a lot of things that we have that AI just simply can't replicate. One, there's brand context and strategy. So we're going to really understand what clients' objectives are from being niched down in a certain industry. We are experts in that industry. We know what our clients need, what they want, and even like the market nuances of that industry. We have creative judgment. So we've got more taste. We've got visual storytelling here. We can actually create a scene here for our assets, build out some sort of set for the story that we're trying to tell here. And we have this creative judgment that really sets us apart here. Three, relationships and trust. I think this one's a really, really big one. The human element of this, right? A client is going to actually have a relationship with you. You're going to be their go-to person for photos or videos. There's even going to be accountability here. So if something doesn't go to plan, you're going to be to blame. So what that kind of means is, let's say a marketing manager needs a photo shoot done. They can either choose to go with AI. If they use AI, they're the ones that are taking on all the blame. They are fully accountable for this project. But if this marketing manager hires a photographer, well, then the kind of accountability goes on to that photographer. And as someone who's a marketing manager, if something doesn't go to according to plan, well, your VP of your company is not going to really blame you. They're going to blame the photographer. Or better yet, if things do go according to plan, you can still take all the kind of by having a successful campaign as that marketing manager, you can still take the credit while alleviating all the risk involved in this process, if that makes sense. There's also, you can add a guarantee into your service to really guarantee satisfaction. So there's that. Customer perception. So I talked a little bit about this earlier, but your clients, customers may have negative feelings towards AI. And if they hear that these companies are using AI, they may be less likely to buy that company's product or service. And lastly, you can have a holistic offer here so you bundle not just the creative, but you also have like creative consulting. You can have longer term retainers if you want to be putting out content month over month for these clients, or if you want to talk brand strategy month over month, you can have retainers there and really focus on the long-term goals of these clients. Cool. So how do we actually position ourselves as premium in the AI era? This goes back to the value equation that we all know and love. So this is one of the first things we teach in this in the offers course, the premium positioning course. And this kind of acts as a moat. So we can take the value equation and plug in ourselves versus AI in each of these kind of components. So just to quickly sum up the value equation as a refresher here, there's 4 parts. There's the dream outcome. So this is the result that clients want from working with you. There's going to be the perceived likelihood of those clients achieving that result. So how likely are clients that they're going to get this result? There's the time delay on the bottom. So how quickly will clients get the result? And then the effort and sacrifice required from the client. So how easy is it to how easy you make the process for clients. And this is a big differentiator here. So if we take ourselves versus AI here and map them to each of these components, we can start to kind of differentiate our value really quickly here. So in terms of the dream outcome, when clients are prompting AI, there's a lot of uncertainty in what the results are going to be. They might not match what the client expectations are. The clients may not know how to achieve that result themselves. But when they go with a professional photographer or videographer, there are clear outcomes tied to what actually helps their business. You have a headline on your website, you have something that you are known for, and that is your dream outcome, and that is what you get deliver every single time. There's no uncertainty here. That is what you deliver. So clients, they trust your dream outcome way, way more than AI here. Perceived likelihood of achievement. So how sure are clients that they're going to actually get the results from working with you? With AI, again, it really depends on a ton of factors like the model they use, how good they are at prompting the model, their knowledge of these different models, the creative direction, a ton of different factors come into play here. And I would say the perceived likelihood is pretty low that clients will get the results that they're after. But with you're the expert here. There's high confidence because you have a great portfolio. You've got lots of case studies. You've got testimonials of people saying how great you are. You've been doing this for years. You've got a guarantee. So if clients see that, they trust that they can get the result that they want with you. The time delay. Now, this is one where AI kind of wins. So with AI, things are essentially instant, right? May take some time to generate an image, but things are very, very quick. But the first drafts may be terrible. It may take a long time for clients to learn how to actually prompt things. If they've never used AI before, they're going to spend dozens and dozens of hours figuring out how to best get the results they want. And this may take hours, days, and they may eventually not even get what they're after here because of the limitations of AI. For you, you can have really quick turnaround times. You can have fast communication with things. You want to minimize this time delay as much as possible. We've already talked about this lots and lots in these calls and courses. And lastly, the effort and sacrifice. So how easy is it for the client to work with you? With AI, it's rather challenging. They have to learn prompting, there's issues, there's legal concerns, potential pushback from the market. So that's a challenge there. Working with you though, clients just hit approve for your ideas and they could relax, right? Depends what your process is like here, what your fulfillment system is like. But for the most part, if you're charging these premium rates, you have a pretty hands-off approach for the clients. You suggest all the creative ideas, you maybe do a few calls with them to get approval, but really you're taking control of the project and you're owning the results for them. So the value equation is actually your competitive moat here. And I hope you can start to realize that as we're going through this. So the goal here is to obviously make your top numbers bigger and the bottom numbers smaller until your price actually feels like the better deal compared to AI. So if you were to plug in numbers here for what you represent versus AI, your value should far, far, far exceed any AI here. And that's the goal with premium positioning in the AI era. Um, with the types of services that you have, I would I'm breaking down creative services into three pillars here. So this is like going off of a three-rung value ladder. So at the very bottom of the ladder, you're going to have a button pusher. This is just someone that has a camera, presses the shutter button, and that's what clients perceive you as. We've all dealt with clients that kind of have that perception of us, right? They only perceive us as someone that bought an expensive camera. The camera does all the work. We just show up, press the button, and magically we get great photos. This is a commodity offer. This is someone who just talks about photos and videos without ever mentioning the result these photos and videos bring. They never talk about their process. They never talk about all the other hats that they wear, how you actually do a lot of marketing, a lot of editing, all these things on the back end that clients just never see. And this we never want to be in this category. This is what clients perceive us as, a button pusher, and we do not want to be perceived as a button pusher because these folks, we earn less than $1,000 per project, and we quickly want to get out of that commodity offer. Step two, creative partner. And this is what I think most people are going into this program. And as they get through this program, they get to that top, the higher level of that 10K per project mark. But being a creative partner, here your messaging is all about how your assets help the client, how your photos or videos solve a specific marketing problem for them. So maybe that's going to be higher conversions on their ads. You're doing product rebrands for them, helping them launch new products, helping them launch rebrands of their current products, doing more social media building and strategy on that side of things. So you're talking about what their desired outcomes are. You're speaking their language. And the thing here is the button pusher and the creative partner, the skill set between these two isn't really anything different. The thing that differentiates these two is the perception clients have of you. And that's what premium positioning is all about. How can you position yourself so that the language that you use, how you speak about yourself, how your offers reflect your value, how you price yourself, shows that you can actually become a creative partner rather than someone that just pushes a button here. So if you are a button pusher, the AI era will not be friendly for you. But if you are a creative partner, you'll do fine. But even better is a growth partner. And this is kind of the top of the ladder. And this is the hardest one to get to. And this just takes a lot of experience being in the game, learning what clients want, how you actually help them, seeing client results from previous clients, seeing how you can tweak your strategy with new clients to get them even better results. So here you're actually helping advise clients on not just, okay, we're going to be focusing on these photos, but also on like overall marketing strategy with any other content they may use. So for example, I just got done with a shoot doing a lot of product photos for a hydration powder, like an electrolyte powder. And this company, they've got a couple other creatives on board doing other photos. So my photos, like the product photos, are just one pillar of their overall marketing strategy. They're doing UGC content, they're doing lifestyle content, all of this. And I can actually talk with the client and tell them like, hey, this is how my photos are going to best fit into your marketing strategy based on these goals that we've talked about in the discovery call. So at this level, you're not just selling pretty photos. You're not just talking about solving specific problems with your photos. You're actually plugging yourself into their marketing strategy, almost being a team player there, and really focus on getting them the result that they're after. So you understand their clients' customer journey too, how they acquire customers, what their goals are. You understand what their revenue goals are associated with these projects. So if they've got someone they report to and they've got like, hey, we got $10,000 for a photo video project and we want to get at least 50K ROI from this, you can understand how you kind of plug into this, how to best create the assets for that goal. And there you become like a true growth partner with your client. So ideally, everyone wants to get to this stage because here you're going to be really really able to protect yourself from AI. The better it gets, and we only can get through that growth partner stage by doing this a lot and working with a lot of clients and learning from these experiences. CBL, Creative Biz Launch, gives you a great business background to really understand sales, marketing, fulfillment, offers, all that stuff. And that directly applies to how your clients run their businesses as well. So we climbed this ladder by really focusing on increasing the top of the value equation, so our dream outcome and the perceived likelihood of achievement. And then we minimize the bottom. And the more we can do that, the higher on the ladder we'll climb. All right. Next up, reframing your service with the value equation. So we talked about plugging yourself into the value equation. We talked about plugging AI into it. Now we want to kind of understand why clients may choose AI over us and be ready to handle all of those objections, right? So, for example here, what I'm talking about. A client may choose to use AI because an AI doesn't charge licensing fees. They can just generate an image and they can use that image for whatever, right? Well, if we want to compete with this, we probably shouldn't charge licensing fees either, right? Well, then we lower our income. So what we want to do is actually bake our licensing fees into the project cost rather than something else the client needs to keep track of. So making it as easy as possible for the clients to choose us over AI. And this is stuff that we've already talked about in the this course already. Like the stuff that we teach, I say the word first principles because I believe like we're building this business from first principles, like things that people actually value. And if we truly, truly build our businesses from like first principles, we will be okay like in the AI world. So really understanding what our value is and why clients may potentially choose AI over us, and then handling those objections will be really important here. Shifting our identity from photographer slash videographer to creative partner. That might be a useful way to reframe our identity. Now, I'm not saying to like stop calling yourself a photographer or a videographer, but when talking with clients on these discovery calls, creative partner or someone that can help them with strategy is going to be a lot more valuable to them than a photographer or videographer. Because again, a lot of clients, I'm not saying this is true, but a lot of clients will perceive photographers and videographers as someone that just presses a button, and that's their perception in their head. I know the reality is very, very different, right? We do so much more than just press a button on a camera, but a lot of clients think that. And our job is to convince clients that, hey, we're not that. That's not what reality looks like. So calling ourselves a creative partner, or more so in that direction, is going to help us stand out. Speaking in results and not deliverables. So talking about the outcome that our client is going to get rather than focusing on just saying, hey, you're going to get a 60-second video, talk about the results. Using the value equation in sales calls. So if you are getting emails back from clients or talking with clients on discovery calls and the client is talking about AI, you can shift the conversation more towards you and that part of the value equation where the client is highlighting AI. So maybe they're saying like, hey, AI can do this really, really fast. You want to switch the conversation and reframe it towards your strengths in that value equation that kind of make you stand out despite them talking about AI. And lastly here, leveraging AI inside your own workflows is going to be very powerful. So using this tool to your advantage. So that's going to be mood boarding, maybe rough image mockups for what your ideas are, scripting out videos, helping with content, helping with emails, right? Editing, all these things. This can help you cut down the time delay while still keeping all of your creative control. Okay, one of the last things here, putting this all into practice. So there's a lot of places where premium positioning will kind of exist, but where do we actually apply this? Um, when I say premium positioning, this is really how we communicate our value to our clients. And this is at every single touch point clients may interact with us. So it's not just our website. It's going to be social media bios. It's going to be in our content that we create. It's going to be in our outreach emails, our negotiation emails, our sales calls, our proposal. When we communicate with clients, even after they've signed our proposal and they've become a client of ours. All of this communication everywhere, every touch point with clients is where we want to apply this kind of premium positioning model. So really taking this to heart and updating your website with what your offer actually is, what problems you solve, what differentiates you from AI, right? Your social media bios, your content, outreach, all of this. This is where we apply premium positioning. And the really crazy part here is that two creatives, they can have very, very similar skill sets, but they can charge completely different rates just purely based on how they position themselves. And this is true. I've seen this play out with my own businesses. I've seen this play out with so many CBL members that I've worked with over the years. And what really differentiates people who charge 500 versus 5,000 for the same amount of work is how they position themselves around the results that they promise clients. So if you can go from saying like, hey, I'll take 20 product photos for your website, or saying, hey, I'll take one really great video for your website, if you actually position yourself as someone who solves a specific problem, saying like, hey, I'll create a strategic set of assets that increases your ad click-through rate and improves your add to cart rate by highlighting your key product features. The $5,000 photographer is speaking the language that clients want to hear, and they believe that they're actually going to get them that result. And the only difference here is different positioning and the different price point, right? It's the same skills, the same equipment, same everything, but how you position yourself and what your service actually is going to be the differentiator here. Your service is not, hey, I'm going to deliver 20 photos for you. Your service is, hey, I'm going to get you this result for your business. So with that, I've got a few next steps here. So step one is to audit what you're currently doing. So review your services through the value equation, identify which parts really need strengthening. Since you've gone through this course already, I'm guessing a lot of this stuff is already in place, which is fantastic. There might just be a few things you might have to tweak here. Step two is to audit your touch points. So every place that you talk to clients, any place clients can see your things, any place you interact with clients, you can update your messaging on there. Consider repositioning your brand if you feel like you are someone that offers a commodity. Make sure that you reposition yourself to someone that is no longer offering just a commodity, but you are a growth partner for your clients here, or a creative partner. So reposition your brand there. Number four, practicing your pitch. So on sales calls, on discovery calls, practice how you're going to handle these objections that clients bring up about AI. If they say, hey, AI can do this a lot faster, or why would I hire you when I could just use AI? Be prepared to handle those objections with your clients. Number five, consider adding some things. Consider adding some things into your proposals around this. Structure it around those business outcomes and keep those deliverables top of mind as well. And lastly, track results. So if you make any changes in your business, we want to make sure to actually track what these changes do in the real world. We want to track the outcomes. So if there's if you notice any response rates increases or decreases, more inquiries on your website, a higher conversion rate, higher project values, anything like that, make sure to track these results so you can actually know if what you're doing is actually delivering you better results in the real world. And that is premium positioning in a nutshell here. That's really all I got. I have this one little bonus thing I made at the end here, just trying to plug into the value equation and seeing like what the numbers are, right? So On a scale of 1 to 10, I assigned AI and human a number here. So for the dream outcome, AI is going to be a pretty low likelihood that they'll get what they want. Humans going to be pretty high. Same with perceived likelihood of achievement here. The time delay, AI is super, super small here. Humans a lot higher. And then effort and sacrifice for AI, it's really high. And for humans, it's pretty low here. So plugging all this math into the equation, um, you can see that AI scored a 1.25, human scored a 6.75. So with this, like the human work scores a 5 times higher value, and that is to be expected, right? The cost of hiring someone is way, way higher than using just an AI, and that's associated with this higher value here. And it's really that dream outcome and the likelihood of achievement that's really showcasing your expertise as the creative behind this. So that's just a quick little math there, just so you guys can see this in action, how the value equation actually works when we plug ourselves into it, compared to like an AI model. Um, but yeah, this is really what I want to address today: how to position ourselves in an AI era, and how to actually compete with this technology, because it's only going to be getting better. But the good news is, if we embrace it, if we use it and really position ourselves the right way, I believe we can still thrive and have successful businesses here doing what we love. So that's all I got.